Hypatia of Alexandria, the Neoplatonist, philosopher, and mathematician killed by a Christian mob in March 415 CE, is the earliest female mathematician whose life and work are documented in detail. Daughter of Theon, a mathematician and commentator on Ptolemy, she shows up in the record as a philosopher, astronomer, teacher, and editor of texts, not as some marble statue, but as a working intellectual in a city that could turn ideas into public trouble. And Alexandria was absolutely a place where a smart person could become a public problem. Imagine trying to get through lectures, contracts, prayers, office politics, street noise, and whatever else the day throws at you. And one of the people everyone knows is Hypatia, the woman who teaches philosophy, mathematics, and astronomy in a Neoplatonic tradition that treats number, cosmos, and thought as one linked system. That's not modern math class. It means math as a way of understanding reality. She likely worked on the edition of Book 3 of Ptolemy's Almagest with her father, and letters from Synesius of Cyrene show students treating her like a trusted guide for philosophy and technical matters, including astrolabes. So she was not just respected in the abstract. She was the person you asked when your brain or your instrument needed calibration, which is a very good reason to be admired, and a very bad reason to be underestimated. Visibility in Alexandria came with risk. In the early 5th century, the city was torn up by the power struggle between the imperial prefect Orestes and Bishop Cyril of Alexandria, who became bishop in 412. Hypatia was associated with Orestes, and near contemporary sources say rumors spread that she was somehow blocking reconciliation between the two men. That sounds like the kind of thing people say when they want a complicated political mess to have a single human face. In March 415, during Lent, a Christian mob attacked her. The oldest account, from Socrates Scholasticus, says she was dragged to the Caesarion, stripped, killed with ostraca, tiles or shell shards, and her body was burned. Later accounts add even more brutality, including details from Damascus. The details vary, but the direction does not. This was public violence, and it was tied to authority, faction, and rumor, not some clean little cartoon of science versus religion. It's messier than that, and honestly, more frightening. What happens next is the part that really gets me. Hypatia keeps getting recast! Pagan and Neoplatonic writers remembered her as a martyr for philosophy. Medieval Christian tradition folded pieces of her story into Catherine of Alexandria, a learned virgin martyr, and the Enlightenment and 19th century, Voltaire, Gibbon, Kingsley, turned her into a figure in arguments about clerical power, reason, and modernity. By the 20th and 21st centuries, she's a touchstone for feminism and for clean stories about science being crushed by superstition. And I get why that happens. I do. But the evidence keeps nagging at us. We do not have a shelf of Hypatia's own books. No surviving text can be securely attributed to her alone. What we have are references, reconstructions, comments from others, and educated guesses made from the work she edited or taught from. Much of what we know comes indirectly through people like Socrates and through letters from Synesius. That means the legend grows faster than the biography. If you've ever watched a complicated person get flattened into one headline, one meme, or one overheated argument, you already know the mechanism. The ancient version is just more dramatic and unfortunately with more murder. Hypatia matters because she shows how knowledge survives, through teaching, editing, copying, clarifying, and handing a text to someone else who will carry it forward. She also shows how quickly a real person can be taken out of that chain and turned into a symbol for whatever the next century wants to fight about. In her case, that has meant philosophy, religion, science, gender, secularism, and power. Not bad for a woman whose own voice survives only in fragments and in other people's memories. So when I think about that mark on the counter, I don't just think about something messy. I think about the way a life can leave a mark even after other people have smeared it around. Hypatia is the ring on the table of history. You wipe it once, and it still shows through.